Hi there, Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. How are you tonight? I hope well. Let me get this kind of lined up. All right, here we go. So, if you've joined me, please say hello. And I have to be honest with you. Hey Iris, I have to be honest with you. This is the part of year that is fun because, well, let's see. Let me point you down. I have a sweater on because it's cold, but during the day it's still hot, right? And then if I go down, let's see if I can go all the way down. Can I do this? Let me put my feet up. Anyways, I'll have to flip around. Hey Cheryl, how are you? It's always fun because while I have a sweater on, I still have my flip-flops on. So, I don't know what to do. So, bouncing between 60 and like 80. Anyways, so tonight I'm going to debut a brand new product that's not even available to order until November 3rd for you guys, but I figured we'd get a head start on it. And so tonight we are going to celebrate our curves. And I'm not talking about eat more chocolate. I'm not talking about drink more wine. I am talking about the brand new set called Curvy Celebrations. So, without anything else, I'm going to flip this around and we're going to get to creating because we have quite a bit to do tonight. Hold on. So there's the flip. Now I'm going to put you in the mount. And we're going to see if I could do this without dropping you. Because, yeah, it's, some days it's just like that. So, there we go. Alrighty. So, I'm going to adjust a tiny bit. Done. And I'm going to refresh my page and I'm going to take my flip-flops off because they're still sticking to my feet. I haven't bought new ones because by next week we'll need boots. It's okay. So, let's see here. If I hit this and I do this, then I should be good. Yes. Okay. So, for tonight, I'm going to explain what the product is that's coming available. And then I'm not doing one, but I am doing two cards tonight because this is a great set to use the Stamparatus with. And you know me by now. You know that I usually eyeball. So we're going to do one by eyeball and we're going to do one by Stamparatus. And it will be fine. No problem. Right? So that's how we're going to do it. So first and foremost, I'm going to make sure I have everything I need on my table. I have everything but the ink. So good thing it's all within reach, right? So there's that. All right, so for this Curvy Celebrations, okay, for demonstrators or people on my team, I had to scooch up. This is actually available right now. So are those dies or are they a pre-order? So this is something that will be released. Let me explain. So this whole set will be released November 3rd through January 4th, okay? If you want it earlier, you got to sign up to be on my team. So, because right now, obviously, you can get it if you are part of the team, okay? But for everybody else, November 3rd to January 4th is when this will be available. Now, right now, I'm doing a trick-or-treat promotion only through me, not through Stampin' Up. That promotion says if you buy the bundle, you will get the paper free. So I'm going to explain that after I get a sip of water. So we're going to go through this flyer and then I'm going to explain. So we are good. All right. So on the first page of the flyer, we have some samples and some cutesy stuff and contact information and when it is. November 3rd to the 4th. Ooh, I'm off the screen. Sorry, guys. Let me drop down a little. So November 3rd to the 4th of January. Okay? So here is the actual product. Okay? So when I say purchase the bundle and get the paper free, I mean if you do the Quite Curvy bundle for $41.25, that allows you to get the stamp set and the dies, and then you would get from me the paper for free. Classic Christmas 6x6, not 12x12, designer series paper. Coordinating colors with this are cherry cobbler, Sahara sand, and shaded spruce, specifically with the paper. Obviously, you can put anything with the stamps, right? All right. So, if you do not, for any God-given reason, I don't know, if you do not want the Quite Curvy bundle and instead you want the Quite Curvy variety bundle for $70.50 instead of $41.25, then you would get the stamp set, the dies, the paper, and that's it, right? The 2 stamp sets, the dies, and the paper, okay? So you basically would get an additional set of paper from me for free, and that is only if you tell me by Saturday night if you want to order. Okay, so that's how this is gonna go. Got it? So basically, the bundle or the huge bundle, you get paper for free. Okay, so that's how that goes. Now, this is more of an all seasons kind of stamp set that has dies that match. Now, the dies also match some of these in this stamp set, but I'm gonna tell you right now, these are very much seasonal. Christmas, winter, that kind of thing. We are going to next week be making a card with this set. So do the dies work with the trees? Let's see here. Do the dies. All right. Actually, hold on, Halls, because I'm going to just take them out and match them up and you'll be able to see. It'll be better than this piece of paper. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on. All right, so this is the sample card. We're going to do something similar to this tonight. Okay, but I'm going to show you the paper, the infamous paper. So when you get this pack, this is only one set of the pack, meaning I think you get 4 of each of the designs, okay? But obviously my hand cannot hold 4 each, and I figured you could figure out times 4, okay? So I'm gonna show you each design and then just understand that the stamp or the stack is not like this, but it's more like this when you get it, okay? So here we go. So here's the first design. Now remember, these are cherry cobbler, okay? And some cute stars that match some stamps. Polka dots, random polka dots, pine boughs, or holly berries, however you want to say that. More dots. This is Sahara sand. More berries, some trees, or if you face them this way, arrows, with a crosshatch diamond pattern design. Also in Sahara sand. Also in Sahara sand, the same, with the stripes. Now this is shaded spruce. Gorgeous, deep, nice color, okay? So this is this pattern now. Okay. So there we go on the paper. And remember, it's times 4, or this way for trees, right? So there we go. There's your paper. All right, so let me line up. Holly, this is where you got to pay attention. Okay, so I'm not going to pull the stamps out, and here's the reason why. For one, I have to find them later, but for 2, They're photopolymer, so you're not really going to be able to see them. So what I'm going to do instead is take the cover, which is actual size to the stamps, and I'm going to take the dies out and I'm going to line them up so you can see. Okay? I hope that helps. So we're going to dump and go. The little 10 I have on here is how many pieces need to go back in. So let's get started, shall we? So this guy, this die, goes with the leaf garland or swag. I don't know exactly how to say that. And then there's a detailed embossed kind of leaf vine kind of thing that really doesn't have a stamp with it, so I'm just gonna leave that up there. Then we have a detailed filigree kind of border, okay? So these can go as its own border. These can go to make an accent in the middle of your card. These can go with your words going across, like if you wanted it like this. There's so many different things you can do with this. So let's see, and then this one is just a dot, kind of nice border. So to answer your question specifically with the trees, no, but there's borders that you can match with it. So I hope that answers that. And then we've got the birds. Did I answer your question, Halls? Are they long enough to do edge to edge on a standard card? Yes, I believe so. Let me measure real quick. Hold up. So they are 5 1/4 is the leaf one. Let me measure. And this one, so these guys, the filigree ones, the leaf one, those are all 6 inches. So definitely yes. With the leaf one that goes with the stamp, you'd have to be a little bit careful and either go on the short side or maybe offset it with some mats. Okay? So, and then we've got our birds. Here's the third one. Okay. And then this guy goes down to this mini swag, floral swag thing. So there's that. And then there is a die that has leaves on it, but it doesn't match necessarily the trees. It goes to, which one? I'm trying to look and see. I don't think it necessarily goes to one particular because I'm looking at it and it really doesn't match, but it's the same styling as that. Okay. And then last but not least is this little bitty one, if you can see it at all. And that goes to the little leaf bud down here. So those are the dies. So I hope that helps you, Halls, with how it matches and what it does. Okay? I do. I like the birds too. I've used the bow so far, the trees, the stars, quite a few things. If you haven't gotten a card from me yet using this, you should be soon, because a lot of you I thought I turned that ringer off. I was supposed to turn that ringer off, and I thought I had. Maybe I didn't save it. Hold on. Now it's muted. I don't know about you, but I'm getting 1,000,001. Take this survey, political opinion, da da da, and I'm done. I sent in my ballot and I'm done. So I'm just ignoring most of that. So these are the dies, okay? And then for tonight, we're going to be using the stars. And I don't know what words we want to use. What words do we want to use? May your days be merry and bright. I'm not quite at thinking of you at Christmas, and I wanted something long, so there's that. Let's see. You're 1 in a million. Thinking of you makes my day. Wishing you the happiest of birthdays. Oh, I have a bunch of birthdays this month, so I might do that. Hooray for you, or made with love just for you, or hello. I'm thinking I'm going to do birthdays. Anybody have an opinion? I'm wondering. Anybody? I'm just getting my stamps out. Stamps. Alrighty. So, my block's out, I should say. Wishing. Okay. Wishing you. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going too, huh? So, I'm going to move my Stamparatus. I've cut for 2 more cards on top of this one. So this one is May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. And we've done kind of an ombre effect with these stars. And I'll be honest with you, the stars were going to go the other way, darker to lighter. And I was going to put the words on this side, but I was hurrying and I decided to put the edge of the block in the ink. And you know about creative opportunities, right? So there you go. That is why my card is facing this way. Yay! It's just what happens. So I'm going to get wishing you. Yes. Now, these are sometimes hard to line up. So what I would recommend you doing is smooth side up, literally just dropping it on your paper and then putting your block over, okay? And then that's the natural shape of what the stamp does. However, if you don't want to do that and you want it more straight, you can always bend to fit or do whatever, but at least you know the natural shape when you start, okay? So there's that. And then there's always more, right? Okay. Now we're gonna grab our stars, which are quite long, as are the trees. And we're gonna do this again because I don't feel like fighting it. I don't know about you. So this one is actually a touch longer than the block, not to worry, but there we go, okay? So we've got that going on, and then the last card we will do, does the stamp set have your name at the bottom? Soon, I'm sure. So, let's see here. So first we're going to stamp with some blue, some Night of Navy. I'm going to put this to the side. So first we're going to do the dimensions, right? We got to do the dimensions. Okay, so we have thick whisper white, or as Heidi says, white, because you got to whisper while you say it, right? So we have thick whisper white cardstock, and this is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. For Miss Shawnee, who I don't think is on here tonight, but hey, that's okay. Our valley goes on the outside, or our mountain or our bump goes on the inside. So we're gonna fold that guy over. I'm grabbing my Stampin' Seal here. Now you'll notice I have scraps and all kinds of things, right? So for this card, unless you're using a punch or a die, which for this specific one doesn't have a coordinating one, but if you were doing the leaves or a border or something like that, you could easily punch out of the middle, die cut out of the middle, and save some paper. However, did not feel like doing that with scissors, so hence why I have scraps, okay? So I don't have to be careful. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy, and my Stampin' Seal is not working, of course. So my Night of Navy cardstock is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. Gonna try to get this centered without getting my hair in the top of the photo. And then the Whisper White is cut at 5 by 3 3/4. However, I'm not gluing this down because this is what we're stamping, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and let's see here. Do I have a piece of scrap? Yes, I do. So if you don't have a piece of window sheet, you can easily grab whatever's in your trash bucket. So a plastic bag, anything that has plastic that you can see through, okay? I'll tell you in a minute. So we're gonna grab our Night of Navy, and this is basically a 1 inker. What do I mean by that? You ink this only one time as you go through. So make sure it's good when you're doing it. So we're gonna grab here and we're gonna really get that good. Okay, so there's our stars. And we're going to stamp hard. Yep. And then you're just gonna keep going. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, I have my wishing you, correct? So I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go, oh my gosh, it goes to right about that star. So I'm gonna grab my plastic and I'm gonna go like this. And I'm gonna go like this. And because the plastic is super thin, hey, guess what? There's not really gonna be a gap. And I have my gap where my words are gonna go. And then you could wipe this off or go get another piece of scrap out of the trash, or, you know, whatever you need to do, right? And then I've got my wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And that goes right there. And then it's not over anything else. Kind of cool, right? So there's that. So that's one way to do it. Okay? So if you were gonna do it the other way, you would grab your scrap and you would cut and you would do. Next time. That's what the Stamparatus is for, right? Okay, so this one's done, and if you noticed here, I got a tiny hint of the block. Okay, so it's okay. Some days that's what happens. So let's get this, turn this over. Now you could bling this up, you could Winkastella it, you could glaze it, you could do all kinds of stuff to it. You could put embellishments, ribbon, you name it on there. But for right now, we're gonna keep it simple. So next one we have, we're gonna get that scrap out of the way and we're gonna put the blue away, the Night of Navy. I'm gonna clean all of my, yes, I'm gonna use the same stamps, but I'm gonna clean them right now because I'm putting them on the Stamparatus, remember? And by doing that, I need them clean enough so my hands don't look like I killed a Smurf. So we're just gonna clean those real quick. We're gonna get our Stamparatus ready to go. Now, if you flip this guy over, I have two magnets here. One mention of word to the wise. If you order this, for one, these are super, super strong magnets. They call them space magnets. They do not like to come apart if you clamp them together. And they're very, very brittle. The stronger the magnet, the more brittle. So if it clamps together, there's a good chance you're gonna break it. Translation, I get an order because there's replacement magnets, okay? Secondly, you wanna put a piece of tape, washi tape, something on it so you can grab it, because honestly, trying to peel this up with my fingers, pretty much impossible. So you grab a piece of tape and you can get it right off, okay? So this is the Stamparatus if you've never seen it before. This is a positioner. Translation, you can use the plates to position and move and do and everything else. So, like if you're doing Christmas cards, guess what? You're good. Because once you set everything in place and know where to put your paper and everything else, guess what? You're done. you are totally done. So I'm going to grab one more plate so I don't have to switch anything out. All right, so I'm going to grab another plate. So what you're going to do, are you ready? I hope so. So I'm going to grab my stack and tell you what we have first. All right, so we have thick Whisper White again, the same, right? 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Valley side goes out, yep, okay. Now we have gray granite to be a little bit more neutral, cut at 5 1/4 by 4 to matte. We have a piece of In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and that is just going to be for our squiggle. And then I have 2 pieces of Whisper White. One is going for the scrap and the other is going to stamp. Okay, so for this to work, you don't want to be too close to any of the hinges. You do want to be consistent. So for instance, if I'm doing Christmas cards, I want to know, like usually when I'm doing a card this way, I will line up at the corner of the logo so I don't have to measure. So for this one, I'm going to line up right at the edge. Okay. And then as you're going, you got to figure out kind of where you're going to finish, because you want to put your magnet away from where you're at least starting to stamp. Okay. So I am grabbing my stars, and I should have made sure they were perfectly clean, but hey, you know, life. So I'm grabbing my stars and I'm placing them clean as if I was stamping on my positioner. Okay? Is everybody still with me? So I'm gonna grab my plate. I'm gonna push, push, push and get it on there. And I'm gonna pray that it doesn't pull the paper up too. That's also why you need to know where your paper is. Okay. And I'm gonna grab my gray, my basic gray, to go with the theme of the gray granite. And you need to be a little bit careful here. For one, so you don't get ink everywhere. For two, you don't want to flex your hinges too much. I've had a couple of people do that for me, and it doesn't stamp as well afterwards. We'll just say that. So I am grabbing here, and I am push, push, push. Sometimes you gotta stand up, it's okay. So that's how we're doing. Now, all of these gaps are an inch up or down, depending on how you start. So I'm going to go down, and look at this. Push, push, push. Here's my second one. Let's see how we did. It's sticking a little bit to the page, that's okay. Okay, now I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna change my magnet to the top since we're done stamping up there. I'm gonna ratchet this thing down. So you can see how this would be great if you were doing Christmas cards, right? Because the kids could help, all that kind of stuff, right? So we're gonna grab here. This is also where your spatula on your take your pick tool works awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this plate and I'm done with it. Not stamping anymore with that, so off we go. Okay. And I'm gonna grab my scrap piece. Just stick it down here wherever, doesn't really matter. Because this is just gonna be what it is, and you don't necessarily need it to be in any specific place because we're cutting it out, remember? So I'm just gonna touch this down at the bottom here. And of course my paper's sticking, that's okay though. It'll come off. Okay. So I'm doing my basic gray again. Stamp, stamp, stamp very lightly. So hopefully I don't get too much on the outside. Gonna stamp it here. I'm only doing this because this was right in front of me. You can obviously grab a block instead, whatever you need, okay? So I'm gonna lift my magnet up. And I'm sticking this to the side, okay? So we're gonna go old school on this because we don't have a die that matches. That would come in handy when you're making 49 tags, and then your hand doesn't look like this from holding the block afterwards. So there's so many ways to help when you're doing. So lots of different things, right? Just depends on how often you do 49 tags and how often you do, you know, that kind of thing. So, all right, so I'm just trimming out my piece here. Okay, off to the side, off to the side. I am gonna dovetail my pieces. So I'm just cutting down the middle. Yes, we probably have a punch for this, but hey, sometimes you gotta use what's right in front of you and move on, right? So now we're gonna grab here, and grab here. Okay, so there is my wishing you. And now I am going to grab my mini dimensionals. Oh, come on. There we go. My mini dimensionals, because I don't want this to be flush with the edges. I want there to be a little bit of space, so that way I don't have things sticking out, we'll just say. So we're gonna grab here, and I'm gonna do 4. I knew there was at least one more sticking on here. Most of this is just border. Use all of it, but not this time. So we're gonna grab here, I'm gonna peel these guys off. If you have trouble peeling them off, stick your thumbnail down in the middle and make it pop up for you. It'll peel right off. So now I'm gonna grab here and I'm just gonna stick this down. If you're not confident in your cutting, you might wanna not stick it down until you're done cutting. It's okay though. So I know Holly can cut, your hairstylist. So I know scissors are a good friend of yours. So I'm gonna grab here and I'm just gonna cut down again, and I'm gonna mimic what I already have there. So it looks about the same. Just do a matted little thing. Okay. And almost. No fingers. Okay. Let's make some room here. Yeah. All right, so if you wanted to add more texture, there is an embossing folder that looks like tweed. It's called Tasteful Textures. Tasteful Textiles, I believe it's called. Looks very tweedy. We'll just say that. So we're gonna throw this down here. And we're gonna throw our stars on there. Please remember, if you want any of the designer series paper that's currently on sale, remember that it goes off sale on the 31st. So don't forget. I don't want to hear, hey, I forgot, and now it's $11.50 instead of $9.78. Yep, I know. So we're gonna follow the curves of the stars. And look at that. That needs some bling though, doesn't it? We gotta have some bling. So let's see, grays and that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking chrome. So we're gonna do some chrome. One thing to note, especially as you're starting to do Christmas cards or have already started, that didn't work, now did it? Make sure that if you do bling, you count in the extra cost of having to do an extra stamp or an extra ounce. Just make sure of that, okay? So, hey Serene, how are you, hun? You catch me on the replay, no problem, hun. So, we have done, this is the sample that you saw, okay? This is the simple version, stamped only. This is called simple stamping. Simple stamping is when you don't use any punches, you just simply do maybe one layer, stamps, ink, and paper. That's it, no extra tools. Then we have the last one with the Stamparatus, and this has a matted and all that other, and I would say if you had to pick, this is beginner, this is intermediate because there's no dovetails and I put bling, and this would be advanced because I've got the matching dovetails. So thank you for joining me tonight. If you want any paper, please do not hesitate. Also look at the trick or treat promotion. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's an event, there's a blog post, there's an email. If you still don't know, just message me real quick and say, please send it to me. It is only through this Friday, and then if we get to 150 in orders, I will be doing a mystery host translation. Saturday, I will be drawing somebody that has ordered over 50, and if we get to 150. So that is what we are doing for this week. If you want details on all of that, please either ask or go find it. Either way. And thank you so much for joining me. Follow me, stampingwithjohnny.com. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.